Should I start with the buff? And then whatever order, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Sure.
So the Orpington duck, they also call it the buff duck or Buff Orpington duck. It really depends on what part of the world or what site you're looking at. It was created by William Cook, who also created the Orpington chicken breeds. He created it in the early 1900s, and it was admitted into the American Standard of Perfection in 1914. Originally, he had created many colors. There was blues, blacks, whites, and the Buff Orpington. Blue, black, and white colors have all already been lost. There's only the Buff genetics left. The Buff gene is actually, or the Buff coloring is from an unstable blue gene. So you can end up rarely with blonde colored or brown, darker brown colored ducks. And if you were to breed a blonde with a brown, you would get 100% buff colored offspring. So there is that rare chance of getting a blonde or a brown if you're breeding a pure buff colored group. Buff is the only color that's accepted in the APA, so it's the only one that can be used for showing birds, if that's what you're interested in. They weigh between 7 to 8 pounds at maturity, and they gain weight relatively fast, so they do make a really good dual-purpose bird. They can reach market weight of 6 to 7 pounds in as little as 8 to 10 weeks. So they do still take a bit longer than like a pekin, but that's still relatively fast, 2.5 months. They have really light pin feathers, so they make a very clean looking plucked carcass. And the females can lay between 150 to 220 eggs a year. That's one of the things that we've made a priority in our breeding group, is keeping that higher end of the egg production numbers. You'll just have to ask though, because if you're looking to get buffs, some people's flocks may lay on the lower end, but you can always increase that yourself, so don't let that hold you back. They're very cold hardy bird, but they're also very heat tolerant. So we have never had any health issues with our ducks in our extreme cold when it gets down to -50, which is -58 Fahrenheit, or in our heat waves, which for us, our heat waves are kind of in the low minus or plus 40s, which would be around 104 Fahrenheit. They're okay in that kind of weather, where some of the other heavier breeds, you might need to mist them or water them. It really depends on what part of the world you're into and how common that kind of heat is in your area. Birds will acclimatize to their environment, so if it's not common to get heat waves, they can have issues. They're very calm. They don't startle easily. They're actually very curious. They don't necessarily like to be held or picked up, but all of our generations of the buffs, they're very curious as to what we're doing, and they like to follow us around, and the kids and the dogs. They also stick really close to home when they're free ranging, so they make an ideal dual purpose for free ranging. That's kind of what I had on them and their personality characteristics, but I did just want to add that the Rare Breed Survival Trust has actually listed Buff as the breed being at the greatest risk of going extinct. Out of all of the duck breeds, they're the one right now that they're saying is the most critical for conservation efforts to happen with them. The North American Livestock Conservancy actually had listed this quite a while ago, and there was an uptick in people breeding them around 2015. Their numbers, breeding groups started increasing, but now again they're declining. So I just wanted to say, if anybody kind of in Alberta or even Canada is looking to get into the conservation efforts with the Buff Orpington duck, you can reach out to myself, or Heidi's getting set up with buffs as well. We'd love to help people get a hold of this breed so that we can help increase the breeding numbers in North America. That's the main reason that we're breeding these ducks that are listed, is to help keep them from going extinct. So if you have any more questions, feel free to reach out to us. I'm kind of speaking for Heidi, but I'm sure she's happy to answer questions as well. So yeah, that's my thing on the buffs.
Just put me.
Rock, paper, scissors?
No, I'll go next. So, Cayugas are, when they start out, they're an all-black duck. As they get older, they get like white to their plumage. With each molt, they get more and more white. They originated in New York near the Connecticut state line, and in 1840 were introduced to Cayuga County, New York. In 1874, they were included in the American Standard of Perfection, and they're used for both eggs or meat. They say that they originated from the American black duck, but there's like controversy on that, because some people say that the American black duck actually has like a dark brown and light brown plumage, where a Cayuga is a black with blue or green or purple iridescence to their coloring. They usually lay between 100 to 150 eggs per year. And Cayugas was the choice duck for farmers until the 1890s, when the pekin became a thing. And then pekins grow bigger than Cayugas, so people started to, like, the farmers started to go for the pekins instead of Cayugas. And now they are currently on the watch list.
And they lay that pretty black bloom.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, their eggs are like, they have the black to them, and then as they lay more, the black kind of goes away. But I also have a couple that lay green eggs. I don't know if they're pure Cayugas, but I think that some can lay the green eggs. I know that some of mine do.
Yeah, I think it's the either British or UK bloodlines lay the green shell, whereas the Americans kind of bred them to be that white shell. Americans seem to really like their white shell eggs for some reason.
Yeah, when the green ones, people are like, green eggs? What? Like, they're pretty. They're like Easter eggs, already colored for you.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much all I have on the Cayuga. I do, however, suggest any new duck owner own this book. Stories Guide Raising Ducks is awesome. It has tons of information.
It is a very good book.
Take it away, Heidi.
Okay. Blue Swedish are on the watch list for livestock conservatory. of Canada, and the breed came up from northwest Poland and into Germany is where it first kind of originated. And the males will weigh between 3 to 4 kilograms. The females will weigh about 2.5 to 3.5 kilograms. They are considered a medium-sized duck. Yeah, they first were mentioned in 1835. And then they imported some of the birds to the United States in 1884. And they were added to the standard of perfection in 1904. The blue Swedish is actually kind of one of my favorites just because each egg it's kind of like a surprise in each egg what you're going to get. They have 50% blue or 25% silver or 25% black for their egg colors when they hatch. So it's like a surprise in every egg. It's one of my favorites.
Do you have silvers?
What's that?
Do you have silvers?
I do.
I think I have one that is a silver.
I'll take pictures of my silver.
She's like kind of an off-white color with a dark beak.
Yeah, that'd be a silver. With like darker feet.
I think so. I hatched her because I have black and blue Swedish.
Yeah, it could be a silver too. Yeah. So the color is more of like blue silver, or blue Swedish is more of a slate blue color with a white heart on their chest, like a white shaped heart bib on their chest. And they lay between 100 to 180 eggs a year. Most of the eggs are white, but you can get the occasional blue, green, gray, or tinted egg colors. So like a creamy color white or off-white. They're generally a calm breed, but they're also shy. So you really got to work hard to make friends with them. Lots of treats. They're excellent foragers, and they do well with plenty of space. Like they need lots more space. I find they do better with it. The drakes are a darker color than the females. They're almost like a navy blue. So like their coloring is like really dark gray blue going on. But they're one of my favorites just because of the eggs that we can get from them. I think that's it.
I like the gray of the blue Swedish. I think they're gorgeous.
Yeah, they're one of my favorite because the coloring and the eggs and and they're extremely broody. Like they will sit on a nest and they will raise their own, and they are a pretty broody group.
Mine have never gone broody, but I don't really give them a chance either. Like I take the eggs as much as I can because my Muscovies, man, will hatch anything. They hide them, and I'm like, ooh, no.
Like my girls, like last year, I took all their eggs up until beginning of June. And then I was just like, okay, well, we'll let you hatch your own or whatever. And two of my girls, they were stealing their eggs from each other. They had nests like side by side. They would steal the eggs. Even when the eggs were hatching, they were rolling eggs. These poor babies are trying to hatch, and they're rolling eggs from one nest to the other nest and back into the other nest. These poor babies are trying to hatch. But they did good. Like, I mean, I think there was 18 eggs, and they hatched 11, and the rest of them I hatched in the incubator.